The year is 2015, and the entire world, yes, everyone, including your parents, your grandparents, your brother, your sister, are all enamored with the likes of Witcher 3. And then this little post-apocalyptic RPG trickles in by the name of Fallout Shelter. No, I'm kidding. It's just Fallout 4. We're talking about Fallout 4. The year is 2015, and I called Fallout 4. Oh, you know, what happened there? Why did I do this?
I'm glad you're here. Something else has come up.
The year is 2016, and son of a bitch. Did I really say that? Okay. All right. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Fallout 4, it's near and dear to my heart. That much is obvious. We're revisiting it after going back to the Capital Wasteland and the Mojave Wasteland. Let's do this.
Something else has come up.
And here we are. It's like coming back home. And I actually believe that was some of the promotional art for this game saying welcome home at the end of one of the trailers. And it's rather fitting given so much history is built into this game, especially with it being so deeply tied to this channel. So of course, just like what we did for Fallout 3 and New Vegas and what we'll do with future games that are non-Fallout related, I wanted to return to Fallout 4 and highlight why I think it's kind of a special game. This one will be interesting because I know it's much more contentious than me loving on Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. So we'll see how that one goes. But as per usual, start up a new game. But first, a word from our sponsor. The following video is brought to you by MillionPugs. MillionPugs is a cashback program geared towards gamers. It's currently in an open beta status and available globally. And what happens is you download a browser extension on their website, and when you shop online with over 900 brands, you gain reward points that can then be redeemed for in-game content in some of your favorite games. Right now, companies like CD Projekt Red with Gwent, as well as Riot Games with League of Legends, are currently backing MillionPugs. And I think that's really exciting because as someone who plays a lot of League of Legends and orders a lot of pizza, you can actually earn in-game rewards through using MillionPugs. How exactly does this work? Like I said, you install the actual browser extension, and when you shop with over 900 brands partnered with MillionPugs, ranging from Walmart to Adidas to DoorDash, you can earn in-game content from something as simple as, yes, literally ordering pizza. And every single month, they're going to introduce new publishers, new games, and new shops to expand your options and continue to allow you to earn. You simply download the extension to your browser, and whenever you shop online, you'll be rewarded with Pugs, and Pugs can be spent on in-game content. They're available to everyone, but keep in mind, this is all in an open beta. So if you're interested in that, check out the link in the description. It's right there. Get in, get started, and spend some Pugs on in-game content. Chills. Just like that. I love this opening footage. I think it's a really great depiction of, as we go through it more and more, the pre-war. But as you can hear, it's our man Brian T. Delaney. No Ron Perlman during this intro. And Fallout 4 is very well known for completely rattling the core of what makes a Fallout game. And it's weird because Ron Perlman is in this game as the TV reporter, but they made the entire introduction around the main character. And it kind of speaks to the focus of Fallout 4, a very character-driven journey, which is different from the world-driven nature of the past Fallout games dating back to the very original Fallout game. Oh man, I remember this moment just hitting during the E3 conference. It just brings me back. One thing that a lot of people really liked about Fallout 4 is its character creator is pretty good. And I still think it's awesome, especially because your wife or your husband, depending on who you're playing as, will comment on all the little changes you make with your face here.
You think my nose is too big?
And yeah, this is what makes, I think, Fallout 4 such a initially hard-hitting game, is you start in the pre-war. It's not like there's nukes and destruction everywhere, and it's why it's one of my favorite intros in the entire series. I really, really like that they pretty much make the starting area of the game, and you see the before and after of it. Like right now, we're in Sanctuary, which you will be familiar with as you exit the vault later on, and I think that makes it a lot more impactful. I also again, I remember just asking Bethesda for years to do some pre-war content, and they finally did it with this game. Well, here we go. Here we go.
Good morning.
Vault Tech calling. Not interested.
Whatever you're selling, I'm not buying it. No worries at all. I'm not
Another great conversation to start off the game. So many memes born from this very image right here.
trying for days.
Go away.
Fallout 4 has a good comedic touch. It's not on the level of dark humor like New Vegas or Fallout 2, especially. Fallout 2 is a hilarious game. But Fallout 4 has got some really good sarcastic replies. It's just that what you're seeing here, this is the perfect description of the template that was used to build all of Fallout 4's dialogue. A was positive, progression. B was negative, get away. Y was always questions. And X was typically your sarcastic button. And yeah, this is what killed Fallout 4 for many people. The voice protagonist, as well as the dialogue options. I think from a design decision perspective, I thought Fallout 4's story hit a little bit harder. So I understand why they did it, and I like the game for it. But it's not what I'd pick in my Fallout games in particular. But I do have to acknowledge how contentious this aspect of the game certainly was. And now we approach one of the most important narrative elements of the game. Sean, just a baby, right? Yeah, just a little kid.
Hey, how's my little guy?
And that music kind of brings you back, right? You played Fallout 3. You see the special book right here.
Weather should hold up.
Nice hard-hitting moment. Now you're planning what to do next. And I do wish that the pre-war section was actually stretched out a little bit more. You look at the intro to Fallout 3 and how impactful I think it was because you had time to get rooted in a certain place, a certain lifestyle for about 45 minutes to an hour, right? Give or take. Obviously, if you're going through it multiple times, it's a little bit quicker, you know, the ins and outs of it. But I would have loved to see an extensive pre-war section, like going out to the park here, following up with your plans. Obviously, they wanted to keep you in the sanctuary vicinity for what happens after this. But to me, I think this would have really benefited from a little bit more, just a little bit more. I know it's not the focus of the game and you want to get to the open world, but that atmospheric buildup is so key to Fallout 3, and I feel like this game could have benefited a little bit more from it.
Yes, followed by flashes, blinding flashes, sounds of explosions.
I always get goosebumps at this part, man. It's so scary to think about.
What?
We seem to have lost
What did he
contact with our
say?
affiliate stations. We do,
Oh,
we do
no.
have...
You start to see
coming
people
in.
outside.
Some confirmed
hugging each
reports,
other.
I repeat, confirmed reports of nuclear detonations in New York and Pennsylvania. My God.
I think it cuts here. Yep.
Oh my God.
We need to get to the vault. Now!
Yep.
I've got Sean. Let's go.
And this is a moment here, right? I don't care what anyone says. This part is one of my favorite moments in Fallout. Actually seeing the bombs fall. People packing their bags. The U.S. Army directing us and getting a good look at your surroundings right now. And the first time in a Fallout game you can really think of outside of Tranquility Lane, although that was obviously muted colors, but some greenery in a Fallout game.
Okay.
Step on the platform in the center.
And here we go, the entrance into the vault.
All right, that's it. Send it down. Almost there. We're gonna be okay. I love you, both of you.
We love you too.
Yeah. Oh man. They're kind of like sacrificing themselves, right? They're like, send them down now while everyone's over there. And yeah, Nuke goes off in tragedy. Really, really impactful moment there. So this is one instance of the game that I really like, and I feel they could have done a little bit more with, like seeing more of the vault life at the start could have been also really cool. Kind of reminds me a bit of how I feel about the pre-war section, right? Like a little bit more with spending time with your family, developing that connection, because it's so important to every part of the story. They still got a little bit of it, right? You see the Vault Tech staff, the overseers at the beginning with the security, you're getting your suit, all that good stuff. And then you go down the hallway.
What now?
And it just kind of leapfrogs to the next part of the story, which, again, I understand they want to just get you in the open world. But, man, would I have loved to see a little bit more interaction here, a little bit more building on what is already present.
Oh, you're gonna love it.
I remember this part got spoiled for me. There we go. Yeah.
At least we still have the backup.
The backup. Ah, man, another character I just wish we got a little bit more of, a little bit more Kellogg in our lives. Such a good starting point where it's like, oh, this guy killed my wife. I gotta get revenge on him.
Anyone?
Oh, see, that was my mistake. I didn't realize that there were additional pods back here where some of the other residents had gone.
They're dead.
Indeed, they are. And I love Fallout 4's rendition of the Pip-Boy. Heavily animated. I love the little interactivity you see as the player. Like when you switch these little ticks on the top right, will change, and then he'll move his finger down to the radio tuner. It's such a little thing, and it really doesn't matter. But it's that level of detail to me that makes this little Pip-Boy stand apart. It feels like he's actually interacting with the object. And again, when you see the Pip-Boy fully animated, especially in, for example, the quests like this, a lot of the main quests in the game, it felt like an evolved Fallout 3 in that manner, which is sort of the, if you will, the positive or the negative thing that followed this game, which just felt like more Fallout 3. And then there's also the perk chart. This was another kind of controversial part of the game because you could not only level up these perks that you would get, but you could also level up your special stats. They were not as rigid and as foundational, if you will, as they were in the original Fallout games, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, where eventually all of these perks were accessible. Now, if it pigeonholed you, right now I would only have access to rank 1 of strength and perception and rank 2 of endurance, and that would make some interesting builds. But Bethesda makes it where you can now buy these special stats. And I think this is one of the mistakes of Fallout 4. Again, this was a game that really challenged the foundation of what a Fallout game is. It's still a good leveling system, but it really pushes you down that be a god path. And I think that was maybe a little bit of Skyrim energy seeping into Fallout 4, where I think you could be very good at everything in, say, Fallout 3, but it made you extremely good at certain things. Same thing with New Vegas. You were extremely good at certain things. New Vegas being, again, as I said in that video, the template, but Fallout 4 really shook it up. There are some really fun perks in here, Bloody Mess being one of them. We're rank 4. Right here, explodes and enemies nearby may suffer the same fate. There's also another perk I really liked where Idiot Savant is another great one if you have low intelligence. See, there was not enough chemistry with other stats for perks in other trees, like Idiot Savant being one. I really like that one. There was another one, though, that made it where, was it 4-leaf clover? There was a perk that made it where, and it's one of my favorites in the game, so of course I don't remember it, where when you killed an enemy, they would explode into a bunch of caps. And that made it easy to get rich in this game. And it was hilarious because it made no sense, but I loved it anyway. All right, time for another step out moment. One that I think is fantastic. And I do think this one's up there with Fallout 3. Because of the way you can't quite see it. Like your character's eyes are adjusting to such bright lights. You have the town that you started the game in right below you, completely destroyed. You see Red Rocket in the distance. You can kind of see the remnants of Boston. My only critique, if you will, of the walkout moment here is that I think to the right doesn't look that appealing. It doesn't look like anything's beckoning me to explore. Behind you, you literally can't even go there, right? The map's cut off there. They started their step out moment instead of in the heart of the map, kind of like, I'd say, not heart of the map, but Fallout 3 put it somewhere in the middle a little bit where you would be able to walk backwards a little bit. This one feels like you were very much back against the wall and the only way is forward. So, of course, this brings me back to the E3 conference, seeing that during the half-hour presentation by Todd Howard. Just a really awesome moment here. And I love the environmental storytelling as always. Like, you can see this is probably the U.S. Army officer who let us in the first place. These are the people who never made it to the vault. And I think Bethesda weaponized the storytelling or environmental storytelling really well here in the opening parts of the game, despite some of my gripes with maybe how they could have done more with the pre-war section. But I think they did a good enough job rooting you in what your life once was and seeing how quickly it changed for you, even though so much time has really passed. So this is Sanctuary, right? This is your old home. And one of my favorite things to do when starting off the playthrough here, we're going to ignore Codsworth here. And we're going to go inside here. And, right. Whoopsies, meant to crouch here. This one. And you get to improve a stat. We'll do luck. Why not? And now we're taking a look at what is another aspect of the Fallout community that continues to be very controversial. A lot of people love this mechanic. A lot of people don't like it. We're looking at the settlement mode for Fallout 4. You can walk around locations and kind of clean them up, right? You know, get rid of all this stuff, get materials for it. And as you all know, with those materials, you can then build more things. I kind of sometimes don't like to do this because I love how destroyed things look, and I feel sometimes the settlement mode makes things too pretty. Is that okay to say? Like right here, you just flatten out a house, and I know the idea is build something on top of it, and not every house you build is pretty. Like I think if I go into the structures, wood, I think we have some prefabs here. Like this isn't pretty, but you can just tell by the wood layout, this is a lot cleaner than what was previously here. And I think it sometimes removes a little something, but this is one of the major parts of Fallout 4 was building with what's here. You got XP for building, so you could really farm to your heart's content if you had the materials. You could scrap stuff, you could store it. You know, this is a mechanic that I always was a fan of. I just want it to be a side mechanic and nothing more. I don't want it to take away from what made Fallout Fallout. But what I liked more was really when you're hunting around, looting like this, collecting all these materials. This is the part of the game that I feel we really take for granted, is the modding. Not the actual modding, like you out there making cool mods, but the modding of weapons and how you would see your gun visibly change in front of you. And there were perks tied to it, which I liked. And you can make your own weapon of mass destruction. Again, something I really liked. You could tailor it to your playstyle with a suppressor if you'd like. There was just a cool level of customization here. And the weapon would change before your very eyes. I just can't help but appreciate that. To me, it's one of the bright spots of Fallout 4. It made sense for the world space. It made sense for the evolution of mechanics that we saw in 3 New Vegas, right? We saw the workbench. We saw things like the reloading bench. This is taking that and moving it a step forward. So I feel like this car is beckoning me to make a comment on the color palette of Fallout 4. And you, my friend, are interrupting. I'm gonna elbow you to death. Anyway, what I was saying was, with this color palette, it's a much brighter, more vibrant Fallout game. You can tell by the vault suit, it's a deeper blue, it's a deeper red here. The sky is very much alive. The color palette isn't as muted. It isn't as green as, say, Fallout 3. It isn't as brown as, say, Fallout New Vegas. This was an intent of design by Bethesda Game Studios. They said that because this game, as you can see in your Pip-Boy, I believe it's in the data section. Yes, you can see what year, 2287. This is deeper than the traditional Fallout games as they go further in the series. Of course, they go deeper in the timeline. They wanted to make this more of a restoring the wasteland type of vibe, and they wanted to make it a little more hope-filled. They didn't want it to be like you're trying to survive. It's like we've learned how to survive. There are still dangerous parts of the wasteland, but we have learned how to live in this very dangerous place. Clearly very dangerous, as we can see here with the drifter outfit in the beginning, a dead wild mongrel, a pipe irons, or rather an iron bar and some blood. Still a grim world, but one that you can live in certain pockets. There's dog meat. Love to see it.
Boy, what are you doing out here all by yourself?
All right, we're in Concord, entering another incredible starting point of Fallout 4. One of my favorite towns in Fallout. I just love the vibe I love the banners, the color. I think this is where the color palette really shines. And of course, we meet the man, the myth, the legend, Preston Garvey. I also love the emphasis on pipe weapons in the beginning. I feel like Fallout 4 has underrated scaling in the weapons they give you. You know, they give you a double barrel shotgun, some pipe weapons, you know, a laser musket, like nothing that's really incredible. Like this right here. Okay, boom, laser musket. And the laser musket is not, this is why I play in first person sometimes, not a great weapon. But the thing I love about the laser musket is it is such a Fallout ass weapon. You know, it's this janky, really hard to fire weapon. You need precise aim. If you miss a shot, you're gonna regret it. You know, this is such an awesome location all in all. The history focus really brought me back to Fallout 3 pretty immediately. And I believe right here we got an enemy. I missed, and just like that, you pay the price if you're like me and you're bad at video game. What is going on? I really miss one. I gotta barrel stuff you. Hold on. Maybe I'll show V.A.T.S actually. So yeah, V.A.T.S is no longer pausing the action, slow motion, and I don't mind this because the goal is to keep the action moving. But I also feel like there's an aesthetic to the action completely freezing up, if I am quite honest with you all. But yes, another thing they completely changed when going from Fallout 3 in New Vegas to this one. Oh yeah, sprinting. Sprinting is a huge part of this game. We've been asking for sprinting for a hot minute, and they gave it to us. Beautiful mural. Just a high effort area. You can tell this area was important for Bethesda to get right.
Man, I don't know who you are, but your time is impeccable. Preston Garvey, Commonwealth Minuteman.
My man. These loading screens are long. Come on, 3080. Let's go. There we go. One thing I really wanted to spotlight was the power armor. In Fallout 3 New Vegas, it felt like power armor was more of this thing that functioned as armor and just armor. And I know that may sound weird at first, but power armor was, by lore definition, supposed to be very tank-like, very brooding, loud, intimidating. But meanwhile, in like Fallout 3, you could do a stealth playthrough while in power armor. What I love about Fallout 4 is when you get in, number one, it's a process, right? You unscrew the back after putting in the fusion core, and you really step into it here. I think this is, again, one of the better parts of Fallout 4 is, well, for some people, it really steps all over the lore. I think it does a good job in other instances, one of them being the power armor, just how hulking it is, right? You grab this big minigun.
We got somebody up here.
And what I love more than anything is after you're done mowing them down, that you have no fall damage, and it really shakes the world a bit when you land. And everyone's trying to line up to take you out. That's what I love about this. You know, you just feel powerful. Everyone's lining up to take you out, mowing them down. The HUD is a little more lore friendly. This is about to blow up. Oh, God. Got him. All part of the plan. And now, see, oh, man. Deathclaw shows up. We're not ready for it. It's got a skull next to his name. Oh, God. Whoa! Whoa, wait, I've never seen that before. Holy smokes. Wait, what? Maybe it's because I don't play in third person much, so I don't know what he does when he picks you up, but oh my God, that was cool. Oh, I gotta reload. Uh-oh. This is bad. I lost the fight. I think I was too enamored by all these new animations I was seeing. But anyway, that's Fallout 4. To me, from the introduction to its exploration, I think it's pretty solid. Its gunplay, as you've noticed, was vastly improved. It streamlines a lot of things I love about the franchise. It focuses on some things I don't love about the franchise. But all in all, I still love Fallout 4. I love exploring it. There's nothing to me more fun than just hopping into Fallout 4 and running around this wasteland, shooting and looting. I think that's what's great about it is Where Fallout 3 and New Vegas to me are more investment focused, like you want to get into a full playthrough. Fallout 4 is the game I have always been able to just pick up and play whenever. Maybe it's because I hold those other 2 games near and dear to my heart, where it's like I really want to get cozy with it, sit down, take on a couple of dates, you know, that type of thing. But Fallout 4 to me, over the years, definitely got necessary, deserved criticism that Bethesda had to respond to. It took Fallout 76, which we'll be checking out, for them to, you know, learn their lesson in earnest. But I still have a soft spot for this game. Definitely flawed, but definitely I still think a great game. So with that, what wasteland shall I venture to next after Fallout 76? You let me know in the comments down below. Other than that, take great care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.